Hello and welcome back to the SuperCoach Corner podcast for another team preview in our team preview series for the upcoming AFL SuperCoach 2026 season. I'm Tyson, joined alongside me as always is Darcy. Darcy, we're kicking off with GWS today. How do you feel about GWS going into this year?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a down year for them last year, and I think in terms of SuperCoach, I think there's a few really relevant guys, and luckily enough for us, Tice, there was a bit of sad news coming out of the Giants camp today. We may as well touch on it at the top. I mean, we'll get to it eventually, but Tom Green going down with the suspected ACL at training, which is heartbreaking for you more than anyone, as the biggest Tom Green lover in the world. It does bring about a lot of SuperCoach relevance, which we'll talk about later, but it is really sad. He's a great player and someone, you want to see the best players out there. So yeah, it's disappointing, but it does open some doors.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate news. I am a big Tom Green lover, as you stated. It hurts. It hurts a lot. But yes, as you touched on, an injury brings SuperCoach chances for players, stepping into a new role or stepping up because the less scores to go around, or more scores to go around, because Tom Green was chewing them up because he is a freak. Let's start off by shouting out our Unlimited League. Make sure you jump in, compare yourself against the rest of the SuperCoach Corner listeners. The code is 728323. Make sure you jump in. Also, if you feel very confident this year, there are some head-to-head cash leagues that we have. Just shoot us a message and we'll get you straight into those. There's also a very limited draft league spot. The spots are filling up, so if you feel like you want to give draft a go, make sure you jump in quick. But without further ado, let's get straight into the rookies. Probably only one guy that we're going to talk about, and he's probably only relevant because he's defender forward in James Leake, rookie from last year, which I know you held the whole year, and regretfully so. How do you feel about James Leake going into 2026?
I might just pick him just because he's part of the squad now. Like, just got to bring him back, do it again. But no, I don't think he was on a lot of people's radars. Today's news might have opened that door for him. I mean, there's a couple of guys who we'll talk about later who I think will benefit more from the Tom Green injury, but someone like James Leake could get that midfield role that he's been dying for at AFL level. Plays really good footy as that inside mid in the VFL, but hasn't really got that crack at AFL level. So could he be the guy? We'll just have to wait for round one. But he played some good games, at the twos level last year. So if he does get a game, and like you said with that DVP, it could be interesting, but for now it's just a watch.
Yeah, nice. Oh, I'm just going to throw another rookie into the mix. I also agree with the James Leake thing. The fact he's defender forward does help, but I'm going to throw another random rookie in the mix that we didn't even have on the cards here, mainly just because I just want to say his name, but he is listed as a midfielder. Jack Off. Do you like the looks of what you see there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, mate, nothing more than I don't like anything more than Jack Off, to be honest with you. I think he's an unbelievable player. So, no, that is a good name. And I think he'll be one we have to target later in the year just for a bit of squad vibes. Bring him on the bench. I'm sure he'll get the boys going. So, It's a good name. It's a good name.
When the team's gone to shit, really, and your SuperCoach season's done, you may as well bring him in bring the morale up in your side. But let's move to the mid prices. Maybe a guy that, there's been a bit of chat about him in the preseason, getting back to his best form, and he's very undervalued for an X-premium, as we'd call him. Stephen Coniglio, he's probably going to benefit from the Tom Green injury, even more so than how he was training. There's reports of him going back to his season best. He's come out and said the last two seasons were very underwhelming and not up to his standards. So he's done a mountain of work in the preseason. Would you now look at Coniglio before the Tom Green injury and then now after? Admittedly, so we don't know Tom Green's injury to the full extent. So it could be an ACL, which would probably rule him out for the year. But it could be something not as serious. Stephen Coniglio, would you look at him regardless?
I think before the injury, like I had sort of half an eye on him. Maybe like 10% of me was thinking, is that a shout? Is it not? Now, since the injury, I think that's pushing up. Like 50% is saying, I think there's a genuine shout that Canelo is a great starter this year. He just falls in that same boat as so many other guys we've spoken about and other teams gone by. He's had his body issues. His ceiling is high. He's averaged over 100 5 times in his career, averaged over 105 twice. Like, he's done it before. He's a proven performer, had a lot of body issues the last couple of years, hasn't been able to get his best footy on the park, but like you said, has been training well, and then this opens the door even further for him to go back inside as that inside midfielder that he's the best at. I need to see it before I buy in, but I think if he has good preseason games and gets picked for round one, he's playing round one, I think there's every chance he's in my team.
Yeah, I agree. I like Cogs. I think he's a good player. Like, he's obviously getting on with age now, but yeah, if he's really getting back to his best, he'll be severely underpriced at 320k, and that's what you want to really penny pinch with the starting side. So he could be a good one to watch over the preseason, see how he goes in the practice matches. He could easily just play that half forward role we've seen for the past couple of years, just be good in that role, but it's not the one you want to spend 320k on in the midfield. You've got Darcy Parish, Hayden Young as other mid prices that we've spoken about, who are probably better buying locked into that midfield. So wait and see on the Canelio pick. Another one that I actually quite like, but maybe a bit too expensive to actually look at from a classic point of view, is Jake Riccardi as a ruck forward. He took a lot of ruck contests last year. It was nearly getting to the point where he was splitting at 50-50 with Kieran Bricks, and it proved good scoring for a fair bit. He dropped a few 80s and 90s towards the back end of last year. Would you ever look at Jake Riccardi?
Probably not in a classic. I think he's just a little bit too expensive at 370k, but yeah, I like him from if you are interested to get in the SuperCoach draft league, I think it's a good sleeper pick. Especially if they're going with Bricks, and with 5 on the bench, they're not going to pick Nick Madden, who did decent when he came into the side last year. And he is getting that 30-40% of ruck split. But yeah, I think it's a great pick. But for classic, I'd probably avoid.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The other guy that you did mention, Nick Madden, would you even look at him? 325k, played 3 games last year. It's probably just not going to pick him until you see him taking over Kieran Briggs.
Yeah, if Kieran Briggs was out for a long period of time, you'd maybe look at him. But other than that, I wouldn't be looking there. He's still a pretty light frame.
Yeah, definitely agree with that one. Well, let's move to the forward line, where there's one that's really enticing for me is Brent Daniels at 300k. We've seen him pull out some very nice scores when he gets a bit of midfield time. I know he dropped to that 100 in the opening round against your mob last year. So, yeah, dropped a few 80s and stuff, but he's had a couple of injury-affected games in there. Would you look at Brent Daniels at all?
I'm a huge Brent Daniels. I love him. I think he's an unbelievable player. But, yeah, his hamstrings are made of chalk. If, he's gone in one day, and again, like with Canelio, there's so many of those guys this year that you can take the risk on. I'm not as sold on Brent Daniels. As a small forward, he's one of the best, but it's just a volatile SuperCoach role. So you're not going to be getting much consistency out of that role. And at 300k, yeah, it's not the value that you want. So I'd probably be steering clear. But it's tempting. It's tempting.
Yeah, there's a few games where he gets 20 to 30% CVAs. If that role is going to be consistent, because it fluctuates a lot, maybe with Tom Green going down, this could open the door for him. But yeah, it's not unless you see something more solidified that you can look at Brent Daniels. And yeah, like you said, he's going to pull out a lot of injuries. Another one who's listed as a forward is Toby Bedford. We've seen him, he's mid forward. We've seen him go into the midfield, be mainly a tagger. Had a couple of free reign games where he actually looked all right, but can be very up and down in his scoring. Would you look at Toby Bedford if you see him as a midfielder?
If he's playing like out and out midfield and not playing that shutdown role that he has done so much of in the past, yeah, I like it. At 320k as a forward, he's got a lot of leg speed, and can obviously lay a tackle as well. So if he's got free reign in there and sort of replacing Tom Green, yeah, it's not a terrible shout. But again, we just kind of have to wait and see. If he's playing half forward or tagging, it's not for me.
Yeah, in the first 13 rounds, or like first half of the season last year, he pretty much averaged like 60% CBAs, and that was doing a lot of defensive roles and averaged only a 63. So, yeah, it dropped off a little bit after that. He finished the year with an average of 60, so it's not really bumping up his scoring too much. But maybe with another preseason under his belt in the midfield, we could look at him as being undervalued. So maybe a pick, but yeah, you're going to have to see a lot to be able to commit to another player like that in your forward line.
Yeah, there's so many better options, I think, around that price. And even the one we just mentioned, I think Brent Daniels, I'd rather take that risk on him with the upside that he has. So, yeah, you have to see a lot to convince me otherwise. In terms of the premiums types, we'll jump into them. And as has been the case for many years with GWS, there's a lot across every line. Heaps of talent, and starting in the back line, two of the best. Start with Lachie Whitfield. He is the best, arguably, for the last few years. He's been the best defender, SuperCoach, super consistent, huge scores. You know what you're going to get from him. I don't think anything changes this year, do you?
Not too much. I reckon more it gets passed on further to Lachie Ash, who we'll get to in a second, but maybe Lachie Ash overtakes him at this point this year. But I think we both had him in him and Ash in the top 8 defenders. So, yeah, they definitely are going to be good for GWS in the way that they play. They always chip around, use their halfbacks to get forward. So, yeah, they're definitely going to rack up the scores again this year, I believe.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And like you mentioned, Lachie Ash, another one is well and truly. I don't see why he can't take his game to an even further level this year after breaking out last year and having an unbelievable season. Obviously playing for Victoria tomorrow night in the State of Origin as we're recording. And yeah, I think that, like you said, there's every chance to overtake Whitfield. He's also kind of got that halfback role on lock. There is that floating sort of question mark about Whitfield, who got thrown around a little bit last year, played a little bit in the wing, played a little bit of half forward. So you know what you're going to get with Daniels position-wise, which I think is a really big tick as well.
Yeah, I really like the Lachie Ash pick a lot more than Whitfield. I've got him probably ranked in that top 3, top 4 defenders to finish the year. And yeah, he's definitely going to be one that's on my radar. The only thing I don't like about both Ash and Whitfield is the fact that they have the early bye, like obviously the rest of the GWS with the round 4 bye. It's hard to navigate. So easier to try and buy into them, especially because they're nearing close to that 600K. So it might be best to avoid them before starting them. But let's move into the midfield. And we obviously touched on Tom Green and his injury. I think we're going to run on the basis that it is a long-term injury because it looked very serious. So how does that open the door for Finn Callaghan?
I don't know how much it changes Finn Callaghan's role. I think they're more likely to try and plug Tom Green. Tom Green's that inside bull who gets the ball out to Callaghan. They want to use Callaghan's leg speed, his dash out of contest, and his long kicking ability forward. He's always been a high meters gain midfielder in comparison to Tom Green. I don't think they're going to ask Callaghan to go and get his hands more dirty and get, in and under a little bit more. I think Clary will take up more of that. I think Canelio will step in, Bedford, those sort of guys, James Leake. I think it'll be more other guys stepping in to fill that Tom Green hole. And Callaghan has still got that burst from stoppages. That's where they see him, and I don't think that'll really change much.
Yeah, we're both pretty hot on Finn Callaghan. I think we were riding him home for the back end of last year as well. Whenever people ask for trades or who we'd recommend, even if you wanted to go a pod, like he was still so under-owned at the back end of last year, we always recommended Finn Callaghan. He was just on a heater, and I don't see him slowing down going into this year. So I really like the starting pick as long as you don't have too many on that round 4 bye. Because, one too many on that buy round, you're already that far behind the pack because someone else has got another premium who's putting out another 100 compared to your rookie that you have to field in place for Callahan. So,
yeah, the only caveat I'd say with the Green thing is that unless Clary goes bonkers and goes back to Clary of old, it's now like you come up against Giants, and if you have a tagger, you're tagging Callahan. Whereas Green playing his good footy is a dangerous weapon, and you want to nullify that. Whereas now it's just Callahan. So does that mean he gets more tags potentially? He's always been like that more damaging midfielder than Tom Green, but I think this just might impact him a little bit more tags wise, which is something to watch out for. But he sort of fought off a few tags last year, Callahan. So
yeah, he went up against a few and at the start of the year and really struggled, and then sort of developed his game throughout the year and fought him off a lot better. So Callahan's going to be a freak. I think I'm going to go out there pretty early and say he's in the years to come, he's going to be the next Bond in terms of scoring wise. He's just that good. He looks so silky as a player, and just his run and dash is just another part of his game that he has and other midfielders don't, which can assist him with more scoring. But that's probably enough on Finn Callahan Glaze. Let's get to Clayton Oliver, who someone that's probably going to benefit a lot more from the Tom Green injury, provided it is serious. Comes straight over from Melbourne. I think a fresh start for him is going to be doing wonders. He was in my initial team pick aside, as you know, Das, and yeah, it copped a bit of flack on the first video, but I still really like the look of Clary, and he probably forces him back into my side, or at least into contention again, being at the bargain, at the bottom of 500k. Why can't we get the Clary of old again?
We've been saying that for years. Is my thoughts. Like, we've been saying that for the last 2 or 3 years. Like, when Clary of old, he'll be coming back, and he just hasn't. A change of scenery could do him wonders, and he could be back for sure. And I'm sure like GWS are so over the moon now that they brought him in. Like, he is a very good like-for-like replacement for Tom Green. So that they add him in, he'll do that grunt work that Tom Green did last year. I'm not buying into it yet. I can't yet, even with the Tom Green injury. I think the role will definitely be there, which is huge, but the role was there last year, and he still struggled SuperCoach wise. So I need to see it with Clary, unfortunately.
Yep, I don't mind that, and the fact that you got to bundle it up with a round 4 bye. You need to factor all of this in when picking your side. I think we're going to get a lot closer to the Clary of old. He seems to be enjoying his time at GWS, even though we're only running with the preseason. But all the talk that has been from Tom Green in interviews, others, Toby Green as well, they've all raved about Clayton Oliver, even just being on the sideline, because he's had a couple of little niggles here and there, that he's just provided that experience to the younger guys. Being 28, he's still in his prime. I've actually really like the Clayton Oliver pick. It is very, very risky. And maybe you can afford to just wait and see how he goes in round 0. See that role and see how he gels with Finn Callahan. Whether Tom Green's there or not is something else that you can look at. But yeah, I like the Clayton Oliver pick for mine. Let's move into the ruck line. We've briefly spoken about this guy, but Kieran Briggs being the current main ruckman for GWS. He's priced at 429k. Do you see him taking that to the next level? We've seen it in a year gone past. I think it was 2024 where he really broke out. Do you see Kieran Briggs get back to his best?
If he's splitting the ruck like he was last year with Riccardi, I don't want to buy into that. If he can get back to what he was doing a couple of years ago when he had that huge breakout season, potentially, but honestly, at the moment, there's six or seven ruckmen ahead of him. So, I'm not looking at Briggs at all.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to agree with that one there. It's probably just, the new ruck rules might hurt him as well, being more of that crash and bash ruckman. So, might be best to avoid him for now. Let's move to the forward line where we've got Toby Green. He's very up and down with his scoring, but he's that good of a player that you probably can't write him off at this point in time. 441k. Are you looking at him as maybe a top forward?
I love Toby Green, and his best is incredible and up there with the best. He's shown even as that medium forward in years gone by, he can be a real Supercoach weapon. I think the Giants will contend again, but they need Toby to be at his best, and I think he will step up. So I don't mind it, but I wouldn't be starting with him. He's like, there's so many better options up there, especially for that price. He's still at 440k, so there's better value out there. Just one to watch. I think could finish in that top 8 forward category potentially, and then you can try and bring him in for cheaper. But nah, I wouldn't really be targeting him early. I think same goes with Jesse Hogan, Tice. We know his ceiling and how dominant he can be, but he's a key forward at the end of the day. He will have those volatile scores, and if you're really desperate to get him in, I'm sure he'll have a down game. He'll drop a bit of cash, and you can sort of target him when he has a nice run coming up against a couple of easy sides. So I probably wouldn't be looking at starting either of those guys, would you?
No, I don't think I will either. Toby Green getting on with age as well probably means he's not going to play every game. They could rest him every now and then, or all that kind of stuff. So the thing with Jesse Hogan, you want to really target if you want to change, you could go to a key forward at the back end of the year, provided the fixture lines up nicely. The fixture's not out for the back end of the year as we speak. So, we'll have to wait and see where that nice run comes in, but it doesn't look like it's at the start. They've got Hawthorn to start an opening round, then the Dogs, St Kilda, Collingwood, Richmond, Sydney, North Melbourne, Gold Coast, Essendon. So it's kind of like one hard game, one easier game. So it's probably hard to pick a key forward when you don't have a nice run like that. But in terms of your prediction for the year ahead for GWS, Das, where do you see them sitting?
I see them. I think they'll be in the wildcard round, that sort of 6th to 10th sort of zone. I think their best is still really good. It was last year, but they just struggled sometimes. I think it'll be the same this year. I think their best will be able to beat anyone, but it's just about getting the consistency and making sure that they can keep their good players on the park. So I don't see them pushing top 4, but I think they'll definitely be in the finals race. What about you?
Before the Tom Green injury, I had him in top 4. To be honest. I really rate GWS. I love watching them play, and I think just the addition of Clayton Oliver would just help their game immensely. So now that Tom Green's gone down, they're probably like a bottom 4 side. So I see them. I think they'll finish between that. They might sneak into the 4, depending if Tom Green's not that long term. But I see them probably. I think Tom Green hurts them a lot more than people might give credit for. I reckon he's about that 5-6 range. Host a final, I think.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. I think so. Well, that probably sums up Tice, the GWS team preview. Thank you again, as always. And if you're listening, give us a like, subscribe, follow us on our socials. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But if not, we will see you in the next one where we'll look at Hawthorn.
Yep. Thanks, Tice. We'll get into Hawks.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tice.
Cheers.